I, for one, do not think, and I'm sure a lot of Nigerians would agree that, yes, we do have an issue with wage justice in Nigeria, but we are where we are, and these arguments can continue go back and forth. We've talked about, you have talked about prudence, financial prudence. You've talked about being creative with IGR. We saw what play out with the 30,000 naira minimum wage. You and I were both in this country. We saw that some states implemented. We know up to when it was reviewed, we know how many states struggled with paying that. Knowing all of that, Comrade, I would like to ask you, in terms of compliance now, because earlier on I referenced that, yes, indeed, this is a law. Do you think the National Assembly has a critical role to play in terms of ensuring compliance? How far do you think, passing a resolution, for instance, will go? Like one directing the federal government to uphold or withhold the allocation of any state that fails to implement the minimum wage. Would that be enough?
Well, speaking directly to your question, resolutions by their nature are persuasive.
Yes.
They do not have the mandatory force of law. But take note, that is not to say that a persuasive force is not strong. A persuasive force comes with the force of morality, with the force of society, with the force of equity. So it might be helpful, but take note of this, that in the extant law, there are provisions for compliance. And one of the fines for non-compliance is that it's a fine of not more than 5% of the offender's monthly wage. That is, an entity that fails to comply could be made to forfeit. That is, on conviction, is liable to forfeit not more than 5% of its monthly wage.